Jordan Addison, of course, coming in via Pittsburgh, made comments about his move this week, called it a gut move in regards to his decision to leave Pitt for USC. And of course, people are generally going to gravitate to the money discussion. We don't know the particulars of that. Take that out of it, and it still makes all the sense in the world for him to leave Pitt, minus Kenny Pickett, with an unproven backup battling Keaton Slovis, who's probably going to win the job, but certainly wasn't nearly the quarterback the last 2 years that he was in 2019, versus going to USC under one of the best play callers in college football, and also Caleb Williams, who's considered a top 3 to 5 quarterback in the country.
Absolutely. And, it was interesting that, some people in the media, especially from Pittsburgh, felt that, why is, that Jordan Addison is not even getting a fresh start at USC. Like they're couching it in terms of, well, he's going to be a mercenary for a year. So like, he's not really getting like a new orientation in his career, but it's definitely a fresh start. Like, you get to play for Lincoln Riley, you get to play with Caleb Williams. And the other thing, as you mentioned, like Kenny Pickett leaving, it does mean that Pittsburgh's situation this year is new. And there were other coaching changes on Pittsburgh's offensive staff. So like, that was another reason why Jordan Addison moved. That was part of the calculus in terms of why he left. So yeah, like Frank Cignetti was offensive coordinator for Boston College last season. So he's now the offensive coordinator at Pitt. So there's a change at both quarterback and offensive coordinator. Like, hey, come on. Like, let's just do the math here. It's not that hard. Of course, Addison would think about leaving if he's losing both his offensive coordinator and his quarterback in the same season. That's not a very complicated equation to handle.
Absolutely. And Mark Whipple, who was there at Pitt from 2019 through 21, one of the best in the business. He's gone to Nebraska now with Casey Thompson and company, and he had lifted that Pitt offense, which prior to his entry to Pitt was the most rushing attempt team in the nation outside of military academies, and he completely revamped that offense, and with the likes of Jordan Addison and Kenny Pickett. But Whipple gone, and Cignetti not nearly as accomplished. So it just makes total sense for Jordan Addison, regardless of what the financial situation is.
Yeah, believe it or not, there are factors other than money, and influencing decisions. and for a football player, like, is there any bigger decision than like, hey, I want an elite quarterback throwing passes to me. I want an elite play caller calling plays for me. Like, that's pretty bread and butter. That's pretty central to any wide receiver's thought process in terms of where he wants to play in a given season.
It's a good point brought up by LBC Trojan again concerning the allegations made by Pat Narduzzi. If you go public and make those type of accusations, you better have proof. And I would think that we would have heard something if he was able to offer any.
Yes, and the other point that's worth bringing up here, LBC Trojan, is that, as we noted several weeks ago here on the Voice of College Football, there's an interview on SiriusXM radio from early February in which Pat Narduzzi very directly said, or claimed at least, that Notre Dame tried to make a run at Kenny Pickett in the transfer portal. And having made that claim, now I'm not litigating whether Narduzzi is correct about that. That's secondary. Whether he's accurate in claiming that Notre Dame made a run at Kenny Pickett, that doesn't matter. What matters is that if you're going to make that claim that Notre Dame did make a run at Kenny Pickett, as Narduzzi did in that radio interview, and you can find it in our Trojans Wire archives, then Brian Kelly's responsible for that, okay? Because like, he runs the show at Notre Dame. He runs that football program. If you claim that Notre Dame made a run at Kenny Pickett, Brian Kelly is responsible. Narduzzi did not castigate Brian Kelly for making a run at Kenny Pickett. So there's a double standard there, and it's obvious, and no Pitt fan can argue to the contrary. All right. So if Brian Kelly was responsible for making a run at Kenny Pickett, and Lincoln Riley's responsible for making a run at Jordan Addison, so you can't let Brian Kelly off the hook and then say Lincoln Riley is, tampering. All right. Those don't square. They are not congruent arguments. They can't hold up together. Either they're both coaches are responsible, or neither one is. So Pat Narduzzi, again, I know that he's trying to stick up for his program, stick up for his players, stick up for, Pitt football and the brand that he's built. He's done a good job. I mean, he made the Peach Bowl, won the ACC. He's doing a good job. So full credit to him for the work he's doing. He obviously wants to continue that, but you can't let Brian Kelly off the hook and then just excoriate Lincoln Riley. Unfair, unprincipled, double standard. You just can't do that. So that's the thing, really, more than anything else, that Pat Narduzzi has to answer for. Like, if he said tomorrow, you know what, I actually should hold Brian Kelly responsible for making a run at Kenny Pickett, and I hold him just as responsible as Lincoln Riley. USC fans might not like that, but it would at least be consistent, and it would at least be honest. But you can't play the double standards the way Narduzzi has with Brian Kelly at Notre Dame and with Lincoln Riley at USC to this point. You just can't. He's clearly in the wrong on that.